You ever look around your home and wonder why you're still hanging on to that broken lamp from 1983? Or that second blender in the back of the cabinet, the one with a cracked lid and no cord? You might not even use the first one, yet there they sit, collecting dust like forgotten trophies from a life you're not even living anymore. If you're nodding, maybe it's time to talk about something that sounds simple, but changes everything. Living simply. Now don't roll your eyes just yet. I'm not talking about selling your house and moving into a tiny cabin in the woods, unless you want to. But most of us, especially as we get older, don't need more stuff, more noise, or more complication. What we need is space. Space in our homes, space in our calendars, space in our minds. And the way we get that is by subtracting. Living simply isn't about going without. It's about having exactly what you need and loving the feeling that comes with it. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine waking up in the morning and walking into a room where every single item has a purpose. No clutter on the table, no stacks of unread mail or expired coupons waiting to stress you out before breakfast. Just calm, just space, just you and a fresh start. The truth is, stuff weighs us down. Physically, yes, but also emotionally. Every item we keep has a little voice, and over time, those voices get loud. The box of photos we haven't sorted. The clothes that don't fit but remind us of when they did. The extra dishes we keep just in case 10 people come over, even though it's been 5 years since anyone did. All of it speaks, all of it drains, and all of it steals just a little bit of joy. Now here's where it gets real interesting. The moment you start letting go of these things, you don't feel empty. You feel light. Like someone took a bag of rocks off your shoulders you didn't even know you were carrying. I remember my friend Helen, 72 years old and full of life. She had a walk-in closet so stuffed, she once found a sweater still in the bag with the receipt from 2004. You know what she said when she finally donated most of it? "I feel like I can breathe again." It wasn't about fashion. It was about freedom. Simplifying your life doesn't just apply to closets and cabinets. It also means saying no to obligations that don't bring you peace. It's letting go of the idea that you need to do everything, be everywhere, or please everyone. Especially when the truth is, most folks aren't paying that much attention anyway. The power of living simply is that it returns control to you. It says, "I choose what stays and what goes. I decide what matters. I decide who matters." Take your calendar. How many times have you agreed to something out of guilt or habit? You join every group, attend every lunch, say yes even when you're tired. But here's a question worth asking. What if saying no was actually the kindest thing you could do for yourself? Living simply gives you permission to reclaim your time. You don't need to explain why you're not going to Cousin Margaret's third potluck this month. You just know that rest and peace are more valuable than casserole. And when you stop filling your days with noise, something beautiful happens. You start hearing the things that matter. The way the birds sound in the morning. The taste of your coffee when you're not rushing. The warmth of the sun through your window. These things were always there. You just finally made space to notice them. And with less on your plate, there's more room for what fills your soul. Maybe it's a book you've wanted to read for years. Maybe it's sitting in silence, holding your grandchild's hand without any agenda. Maybe it's simply standing on your porch and feeling the breeze on your face. One of the biggest lies we're told is that more equals better. More money, more furniture, more gadgets. But the happiest people I've met aren't the ones with the biggest homes or the fanciest tech. They're the ones who feel at peace with what they already have. Now don't get me wrong. This isn't about deprivation. This is about clarity. When you live simply, you know what you truly enjoy, and you double down on it. You wear the same favorite coat every winter because it keeps you warm and makes you smile. You eat your favorite breakfast every morning and never get tired of it. You spend your days with people who fill your heart, not your schedule. And let me tell you, the folks who live like this, they glow. There's a calm in them that doesn't get shaken by traffic or gossip or the latest sale at the department store. They've traded chaos for contentment. Another part of this journey is letting go of the someday trap. You know what I mean. Someday I'll organize those drawers. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll start painting again. But someday is a slippery little thing. It has a habit of never arriving. Living simply means bringing someday into today. You start by asking, what do I actually want from this chapter of life? And then you create the space to go get it. For some folks, that means downsizing. Not because you have to, but because you want less to clean, less to fix, less to heat and cool. For others, it's about streamlining routines. Maybe you stop ironing clothes you don't like wearing. Maybe you let go of the pressure to make everything from scratch and just enjoy the meal. The little choices add up. I once met a woman named Estelle, 81 and sharp as a tack. She told me the best thing she ever did was get rid of her television. Said she was tired of hearing bad news and commercials telling her to buy more toothpaste. Instead, she played records, wrote letters, and took long walks. Her days weren't full, but they were full of meaning. Now, I'm not saying you should toss your TV, but think about what takes your time and gives nothing back. What fills your ears, but not your heart. Those are the things you can let go of without missing a beat. Living simply also means simplifying relationships. As we age, our circle often gets smaller. And that's not a bad thing. It's natural. But it also means we should be choosy about who we spend our energy on. Not everyone gets a front row seat in your life. Save those for the folks who cheer for you, who make you laugh, who know how to sit in silence without it being awkward. And sometimes, that includes letting go of old hurts too. There's a heaviness in grudges that no one needs to carry, especially not now. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. It's one of the most freeing simplifications of all. Now, I want to tell you something that might surprise you. Living simply doesn't mean your life will be boring. It means your life will be clear. When your days aren't jammed full of obligations and your home isn't stuffed with junk, you suddenly have this beautiful thing most people are starving for: presence. You're actually living in the moment, not rushing to the next. You're not worried about what's in the attic or on tomorrow's to-do list. You're just here. And here is where happiness lives. So now you've cleared the clutter. You've said no to the obligations that used to drain you. You're walking through your days with more peace, more presence. But let's go even deeper. Because once you've simplified the physical and the social, something else shows up at the door: your thoughts. Living simply isn't just about tidying your home or your schedule. It's about cleaning up your inner world. That voice in your head that keeps rehashing conversations from 10 years ago, that nagging list of should-haves and what-ifs, those too can be let go. When life slows down, your mind speaks louder. That's why many people fear simplicity. They're afraid of what they might hear in the quiet. But let me tell you a secret. In that stillness is where the truth lives. And more often than not, that truth is gentle. It says you're enough. It says you've done more than you think. It says this moment, right here, is worthy of your full attention. But to hear that, you've got to make peace with silence. Start small. 5 minutes in the morning. No news, no notifications, no noise. Just sit. Let your thoughts wander. Don't chase them. Don't fight them. Just notice, like clouds in the sky. You don't have to solve anything. You just have to show up. This kind of mental simplicity is where joy takes root. You're not tangled in regrets or buried under worries. You're just here, breathing, living, being. And from this place, decisions get easier. You're no longer pulled in 20 directions by voices that aren't even yours. You begin to trust your instincts again. You know when something feels right. And just as importantly, when something doesn't. That's another gift of living simply. It sharpens your intuition. Now let's talk about another part of your life that can benefit from simplicity. Money. How much stress in your life has come from worrying about bills, costs, or whether you're spending too much or not enough? A simpler life often means a cheaper life. You're not buying things you don't need. You're not maintaining things you don't use. And you're not chasing the illusion that happiness can be purchased. In fact, the happiest folks I know don't measure life by what they own. They measure it by moments. That walk with an old friend. That Sunday afternoon nap. That cup of tea while rain taps against the window. These things don't cost a dime, but they feel like wealth. There's this quiet dignity in living simply and living well. It doesn't shout. It doesn't brag. It just hums along, steady and content. It knows the value of a homemade meal, the joy of a freshly made bed, the beauty of waking up with nothing urgent to rush to. And if you're someone who's always lived with a little too much motion, this slower pace might feel strange at first. That's okay. It's not laziness. It's wisdom. Life isn't a race to the end. It's a walk. A slow, steady walk with time to pause, to look around, to smile. And while we're here, let's bust a myth. Simplicity doesn't mean doing everything alone. In fact, living simply can bring you closer to people. When you strip away the noise, you get to show up fully in your relationships. You're not distracted. You're not half listening. You're present. And presence is one of the rarest, most beautiful gifts we can offer each other. Imagine sitting with someone and actually hearing them, not just the words, but the pauses, the tone, the things left unsaid. That kind of attention creates connection. That kind of attention heals. And here's another secret. When you live simply, you become magnetic. People are drawn to your calm, to your clarity. They might not even know why, but they feel it, and they want to be near it. Because deep down, we all crave peace. Even those busybodies who make their calendars groan with activity. They're looking for the same thing. A moment to breathe. A life that feels like theirs, not someone else's. And sometimes, when people see you living simply, they start making changes too. They realize they don't need 5 streaming services. They realize they don't need to say yes to every invitation. They realize they can choose, just like you did. You become a quiet example, not a preacher, not a persuader, just someone who decided to live in a way that felt true. And slowly, others follow. Now you might be thinking, what if I already missed my chance? What if I've lived a busy, complicated life and it's too late to change? Let me stop you right there. It is never too late to begin again. Not at 60, not at 70, not at 90. The only time it's too late is when we stop believing we're allowed to start. Every breath is a doorway. Every morning is a chance. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start with one drawer, one calendar square, one thought you're willing to let go of, and then another. Like watering a plant, little by little, your life will bloom. And when it does, you'll notice something odd. People will start saying things like, "You seem happier lately," or "You look more relaxed." But you'll know what it really is. It's not a new face cream. It's not a special diet. It's peace. Peace has a glow. And when you live simply, peace comes easier. You don't have to chase it. You just stop chasing everything else. And there it is, waiting for you. Now, before we end this journey together, I want to leave you with a question. What do you want the rest of your life to feel like? Not look like. Feel like. Close your eyes and imagine it. Is it fast or slow? Is it full or free? Are you running or resting? Whatever picture comes to mind, let it guide you. Let it nudge you toward the choices that support that feeling. Not the ones that impress other people. Not the ones you think you're supposed to make, but the ones that make your shoulders drop and your heart open. That's the feeling you're after. That's the reward for living simply. And if you've made it all the way to this moment, here's your final gift. You now know that happiness was never hiding. It was just buried under too much stuff, too much noise, too much trying. Now you've cleared the path. You've simplified. You've slowed down. And you've made space for joy to walk right in. Don't be surprised if it brings cookies and maybe a blanket for your lap, because that's the kind of life you've made room for. Simple, sweet, yours. If this gave you even one quiet smile, or reminded you of what matters most, go ahead and subscribe. That way, the next time we sit down to chat, you'll be the first to know. And if you've got a story of your own, drop your city in the comments. I'd love to know where in this big, beautiful world you're watching from.